Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just about a broken vase, it's about the exact moment I realized my own family saw me as something disposable. My sister didn't just lose control that day, she exposed everything. "Now, you have to listen to me," she screamed, her voice cracking through the studio like glass under pressure. And before I could even process what was happening, she lifted the heavy brass candlestick and brought it down with full force. The $40,000 Ming vase I had spent 3 months restoring, shattered. Not cracked. Not chipped. Gone. Thousands of hours of precision, patience, and care, reduced to dust across my studio floor in less than a second. She stood there, breathing hard, waiting for me to break. Waiting for tears, for anger, for begging. I gave her none of it. I calmly reached for my phone, unlocked it, took 3 clear photos of her standing in the wreckage, and pressed the silent alarm under my desk. Before I tell you what happened next, and trust me, it gets a lot worse, drop a like right now and subscribe to Revenge Cast if you enjoy real stories where karma doesn't just knock, it kicks the door down. My hands didn't start shaking until I got into my car. Not inside the studio. Not in front of her. 3 minutes away. That's how long I held it together. Then the adrenaline wore off. And what replaced it wasn't fear, it was clarity. I drove without thinking, the streets blurring past until I reached my house. People call it the glass house now. A mid-century modern masterpiece sitting on the edge of a cliff, worth over $1 million. But when I bought it, it was falling apart. Mold in the walls, broken windows, rotting wood. Everyone else saw a disaster. I saw potential. That's what I do. I fix broken things. My name is Kendra. I'm 26. And I built my life from pieces nobody else wanted. I walked inside, the silence wrapping around me like armor. My fingers traced the walls I restored myself, inch by inch. Every detail in that house existed because I refused to quit. And yet, to my parents, none of it mattered. Because in their world, my success wasn't earned. It was stolen. Growing up, I wasn't the daughter they showed off. I was the one behind the scenes. Fixing problems. Cleaning messes. Making sure everything ran smoothly so my sister, Brittany, could shine. She was the star. I was the support system. Invisible, but necessary. When I was 19, they gave me $5,000, not as a gift, but as a way to push me out of the house so they could turn my room into a content studio for her. I paid every dollar back in 6 months. With interest. Everything I built after that? Mine. But facts never mattered to them. Because in my family, success is a competition. And there's only room for one winner. And it was never supposed to be me. A week passed after the incident. I didn't call them. I didn't argue. I didn't demand anything. I just waited. Because I knew them. Silence, in my family, isn't peace. It's weakness. And weakness invites attack. Sure enough, they showed up. Tuesday morning. I was in my studio, working on a set of antique chairs when I heard the door open. My mother's heels clicked against the concrete like a warning signal. They walked in like they owned the place. No apology. No concern. Just judgment. "This place is a mess," my mother said, wrinkling her nose. "I'm working," I replied. "What do you want?" My father didn't waste time. "Brittany is in trouble." I crossed my arms. I figured. Then they told me everything. Counterfeit handbags. Online store. Federal investigation. Wire fraud. Possible prison time. And then came the part they really cared about. "We need you to fix this." Not help. Fix. Like I was still the same invisible girl cleaning up after their golden child. They wanted me to pay the fines. Hire lawyers. Save her. Again. I looked at them and realized something terrifying. They actually believed I owed them. That everything I built belonged to them. That I was just holding it temporarily. No, I said. And the room went cold. You're choosing money over family, my mother snapped. No, I said quietly. I'm choosing not to be robbed twice. That's when my father leaned in and said something I'll never forget. If you don't help, we'll take what's owed. One way or another. That wasn't a request. That was a threat. And in that moment, everything changed. Because I realized I didn't need to defend myself anymore. I needed to prepare. I didn't sleep that night. Not out of fear, but strategy. If they wanted a fight, I wouldn't give them one. I'd give them something worse. A contract. The next morning, I called them. Calm. Controlled. I have a solution. They showed up thinking they'd won. They thought I had finally broken. I handed them a contract and explained it simply. I would cover everything. Legal fees. Fines. Rebranding. In return, I would become Brittany's partner. Control the finances. Protect the business. Standard terms. At least, that's what they thought. They didn't read it. Not a single page. They just signed. And in that moment, they didn't just accept help. They handed me everything. For 3 months, I played along. Paid everything. Fixed everything. Watched her rebuild her image online. And waited. Because people like Brittany don't change. They repeat. The breach came exactly how I expected. Misused funds. Personal expenses. Careless spending. Proof. That's all I needed. At 2 a.m., I executed everything. Website, mine. Email accounts, mine. Brand ownership, mine. And her Instagram? Gone. 5 years of her life, erased in seconds. Replaced with my work. My name. My identity. When she showed up at my door the next morning, screaming, crying, completely shattered. I felt nothing. No anger. No guilt. Just balance. You took my life, she screamed. No, I said calmly. You handed it to me. For the first time, she saw me clearly. Not as the sister she could control. But as someone she couldn't touch anymore. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. Because while I was playing chess, my father was preparing something else entirely. A lawsuit. They tried to take everything. My business. My house. My future. Claiming they built me. That everything I owned belonged to them. But they made one mistake. They lied under oath. And when the truth came out, it didn't just ruin their case. It destroyed them. Fraud. Insurance scams. False claims. The courtroom didn't just reject them, it exposed them. And just like that, everything they built on lies collapsed. That night, I went home. Back to the glass house. Back to silence. Back to peace. I picked up a damaged chair and started sanding it down. Slowly. Carefully. Layer by layer, until the rot was gone. Because that's the truth about broken things. Some can be fixed. Others need to be cut out completely. And my family? They weren't damaged. They were rot. If you made it this far, comment control below. I want to see who really understands what this story is about. And share this with someone who needs to hear it, because sometimes the strongest revenge isn't loud. It's final.